So, let's take a look at this fucking Graveyard Shift graphic novel. This is one of the first Comicsgate books I picked up, contributing to the campaign way back in September of 2018, and here it is today, still looking nice and shiny. However, I did then, and still do have gripes with the cover art. I prefer my comic and graphic novel covers to tell more of a story, and to feature more badass shit. Oh well. This is a signed copy. You can see John Malin's John Mancock down there in golden ink. It has a strong spine with easily readable lettering, so you don't get confused when you're looking for your copy on the bookshelf. The back cover is where it's at, one of the nicest back sides in all of Comicsgate. I like it very much. A perfect blend of art and synopsis. Great work. Graveyard Shift was created by Mark Poulton and John Malin. The book itself was written by Poulton, and the artwork was drawn by Malin. Colors in this one were done by Anthony George, and letters by, you guessed it, Eric Weathers. The book opens at Castle Dracula. Professor Vladimir Blood, aka Professor Blood, is engaging in adulterous romantic activities with his teammate Dr. Lily Mayhew, aka the Bride, a married woman. A slobbering creature called Monster Girl then interrupts the scene to inform Dr. Blood that his jet is all fueled up and ready to go. So he hops on board and is greeted by his secret lover's husband, Mick Mayhew, aka the Monster, aka the Frankenstein character. Down below the floating base known as Castle Dracula, President Van Helsing addresses a concerned public following a terrorist attack on Congress, supposedly perpetrated by Professor Vladimir Blood's Graveyard Shift team. POTUS Van Helsing's message is clear: no more monsters. Then we flash back years prior to an undisclosed location in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. During this segment, we're shown a young Professor Blood joining a research team at the Atlantis Corporation. It includes members of the Graveyard Shift, but prior to their monstrous transformations. Ironically, their then-teammate Van Helsing, with his anti-monster stance as president, is the one responsible for turning Mick, Vlad, and Lily into monsters themselves. It's an age-old tale. Greedy son of a bitch experimenting with things he shouldn't, and sacrificing the lives of others for his own personal gains. After a scrum at the Atlantis Foundation's underwater lab, the Jarvis-like AI known as Harker helps Blood and Lily blast off into outer space in a secret satellite, where they live among the stars for 5 years. Finally, they return to Earth to destroy Van Helsing's Atlantis Corporation once and for all, and they meet up, again, with old Mick Mayhew, the monster. But the media paints the Graveyard Shift's attempt as a terrorist plot, and Van Helsing uses the victim narrative to run for president on a platform of ending monsters everywhere. He wins the election and becomes President Van Helsing, and on the anniversary of his Atlantis Corporation's being hit by the Graveyard Shift, he moves to pass legislation that would declare war on monsters everywhere. And this is the cause for the terrorist attack on Congress referenced earlier in the book. The Graveyard Shift attacks Congress in order to stop the war declaration from being made official. Again, ironically, many within Congress are found to be monsters following the explosion, as their skeletons reveal vampiric forms beneath their flesh. This causes a surge of public support for the Graveyard Shift team. The book ends with Van Helsing reporting to his boss, Dracula, with news that he's revealed to Mick Mayhew the affair taking place between Mick's wife and Blood. When the time is right, the monster will turn coat and help Van Helsing and Dracula in their cause, so says Van Helsing. So we can look forward to seeing how this story continues in Graveyard Shift Volume 2, which I have in my possession and will likely review in due course. And that's the damn book. In my humble opinion, there was a bit too much ground covered in this volume. Book 1 could easily have been just the story of the team's transformation into monsters, or just their first mission together, or just the attack on Congress. Instead, it felt like I was rushed through 3 monumental events I wanted to see in more detail. It was still a fun read, with some fantastic artwork and a cool story, so don't think I'm bashing it. Like I said, it just felt like too many details had to be sacrificed in order to make it from the beginning to the end of the first entry in this series. Perhaps with the second volume, we'll see more focus on one particular point in time, really allowing a deep dive instead of a flyover. Anyway, I'm giving it a respectable C rank, a good graphic novel worth having in your collection.